If you are into games with a deep story, tough moral choices and a unique dystopian setting, then you're in for a treat today. Free treat actually, as this game is going to be free from Epic Games Store starting November 21, 2024. Once you claim it, you keep it forever. So let's dive into Beholder, a strategy, management and narrative-driven game that puts you in the shoes of government-appointed landlord tasked with spying on your tenants. The story unfolds in dark, oppressive world where you have to decide whether to obey the authoritarian regime or risk everything to help the people you're supposed to be spying on. At its core, Beholder is a management simulator. You run an apartment building and your main responsibility is to gather information about the tenants. You can look through the keyholes or install security cameras, but you got other ways too. You can talk directly with them or their neighbors, or search through their belongings, all in the name of keeping your government's bosses happy. Do you report on your tenants' every move, or do you risk everything to protect their privacy and maybe even help them escape the regime? As you go deeper into the game, things get more complex. You start receiving missions from the government, each one asking you to make harder decisions. For example, you might be asked to report one of the tenants who's secretly reading banned books. But what if the tenant is actually trying to help someone? Or what if they're just innocent? These choices aren't black and white, and the game is putting you in the shoes of someone who's constantly walking the line between right and wrong. The graphics and art style are also worth mentioning. The game has a distinct cartoonish aesthetic with contrasts with a darker, more serious theme. It's a mix of light and dark that keeps the tone from becoming too oppressive but still drives home the weight of the choices you're making. Unfortunately, the game is not voiced over. So, should you play it? The game's pacing is slow, and honestly, it's not for everyone. If you are the type of player who loves fast-paced action or combat, forget this one. Instead, it's a game that encourages you to think about your decisions, weight of the consequences, and sometimes just to sit with the uncomfortable choices that you have to make. The difficulty isn't brutal, but it definitely isn't a cakewalk either. You'll have to juggle multiple tenants, manage resources, and deal with the pressure of trying to keep your family safe, also time limit on some tasks, and all while staying true to or betraying your consciousness. It's definitely a game that rewards careful planning and smart choices. Yes, you heard right. While you're spying on your tenants, you also have to take care of your own family living in the same building. You can't neglect them because if you do, they'll suffer the consequences. This adds another layer of tension to the game. The interface can be a bit clunky, especially when you're trying to quickly manage multiple tasks. Some of the repetitive elements can feel like a drag, and while the story is engaging, there's a limit to how much replay value the game offers, since the story is always the same. Once you've gone through the main narrative, which takes you about 6 hours, there's not a whole lot reason to go back and play again, but you could try different choices that led to alternate endings. So is Beholder worth playing? Well, if you're a fan of narrative-driven games that focus on moral choices, resources management and making difficult decisions, then absolutely. It's a thought-provoking experience that will make you question your own values and what you're willing to do in a world where privacy and freedom are scarce. And there are not many games like this. However, the slowly pacing and lack of combat might be a deal breaker for you. Also, if you're playing games to switch from your own dark thoughts, do not play this one. Hope this short review was useful, also that you got the game while it was free, and if not, that's what the channel is here for. Hope to see you next time.